Welcome back to another FPL video. We got some really exciting teams for this one. It's Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Man United and Newcastle. I've done some research and today I will share it with you guys. So let's have a look. Please consider giving this video a like and please consider subscribing to the channel as well if you enjoy the content. My best rank is 157 in the world and I have 735k ranks, and I just made a video about how to get a top 10k rank, so please go watch that one as well if you're interested. But for now, let's get into part 3 where I talk about the best picks from each club. First out in part number 3 out of 4 in this series is Leicester, newly promoted. Jamie Vardy is still there taking their penalties, and on free kicks and corners is Mavididi. Their most owned asset is Harry Winks, selected by 11%, and the reason for that high number is that he's one of the best midfield fodders. So if you are playing with 3 up front, having Harry Winks on your bench might be a decent option. But for me, the best option from Leicester right now is actually one of their defenders. With Johnson at Ipswich, Wood Fast, he comes in at 4.0 and he will probably start most games for Leicester. He has a bit of attacking threat as well, so Void Fast, not sure he will get that many clean sheet points, but a couple, and he is probably the best bench for them. I would not recommend having him in your starting 11, but it's fine to have on the bench. Liverpool, Klopp is gone and Arne Slot is the new manager. We might see some small tweaks in the team, but I don't think we'll see any radical changes, and I expect Mo Salah to still be on penalties, and free kicks and corners will be taken by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Szoboszlai and Robo will have a few as well. Their most owned asset right now is the king of FPL, Mo Salah. He's coming in at 12.5 and is selected by 34% of the managers. For me, the best pick is also Mo Salah. Liverpool have a lot of potential gems in their team. We should pay close attention to the Liverpool attacking options. If some of them gets injured and other ones becomes nailed, then we should jump on because they have so much potential and they're much cheaper than Salah. I'm talking about Jota, Diaz, Darwin, Gakpo, Elliott, Szoboszlai. They are really good, but we cannot know if they're nailed enough to become really good fantasy options. So for now, Salah is the most nailed player, and he is the one I would probably have in my starting 11 come game week 1. If you want to double up on Liverpool assets, I do believe that Trent, Robo and Van Dijk are decent options. I would go for one of them 3, but they are quite expensive. So having both Salah and one of those defenders really takes a good chunk of the budget. But if you believe that Liverpool will do well, a double up is probably a good investment. Next out is Man City. Haaland will take their penalties, free kicks De Bruyne, corners De Bruyne as well, while Alvarez will probably take a couple of free kicks and Foden and Alvarez will take a couple of corners as well. The most owned asset right now is Haaland. He is selected by 35% of the managers. At this time last year he was above 90% owned, so the FPL towers increasing his value from 14 to 15 has really made many consider Haaland's value. So for me right now, he's not in my current draft. I do believe that 15 million is a lot for one player. I still think that he is a good option, but for my team right now, I am having Mo Salah as the most expensive player, and I can't really see a good team structure with them both in. The 2.5 saved from having Salah instead of Haaland is really doing it for me, so I'd rather have Salah at 12.5 than Haaland at 15. Another Man City option I'm really considering is Guardiola. He comes in at 6, had a really good season last year, contributing with goals and assists, and he will probably get some clean sheets as well. I do believe that Guardiola at 6.0 is better than the likes of Stones, Walker at 5.5. I do believe that the extra for the attacking threat is worth the investment. Man United, will this be a good season for the Red Devils? On all set pieces, Bruno Fernandes, he takes penalties, free kicks and corners, and he is also their most owned asset at 14%. He comes in at 8.5, and I do believe that this is a quite good price for him. We have to remember that a couple of seasons ago he actually started at the same price that Salah has this year, 12.5. So if Bruno Fernandes has a good preseason and is ready to start in game week 1, I do believe that he is a good player to have. If you want a real differential, Ahmad has done really well in their first couple of games in preseason. He comes in at 5.0. I also believe that Martinez, the centre back, is really good value at 4.5 if United can prove to be solid defensively. If you have 0.5 to spare, I do believe that Luke Shaw at 5.0 is a decent option as well. He has been injured for long, but he's got some minutes in the Euros for England, and actually do believe that he looked quite well. So Luke Shaw at 5 could be a really good player. He has historically always started the season at 5.5, so keep an eye on Luke Shaw as well. The last team in part 3 is Newcastle. On set pieces, they have Wilson at penalties. Wilson has a really tricky injury history. He always tends to get some kind of injury, so for the Isaac owners, he will probably take a couple of penalties this season as well. On free kicks and corners is Trippier, that's taking most of them, but we could also get a couple of attempts from Schär at free kicks. Their most owned asset is Isak. He is selected by 55% of the managers. He comes in at 8.5, which seems actually quite cheap. He had a really good season last year, and I think that he will continue in the same manner this season. If Wilson is fit to play, I do believe that Isaac is still nailed. They will play 2 up front, or if they play with 1 striker and Wilson starts, then Isaac will just shift a little bit to the left. But I do believe that Isaac will start most games and that he will play enough minutes to become a really good fantasy option this season as well. One to watch is actually Livramento, especially if Trippier leaves. He's been rumored to leave the club this summer, and if Trippier leaves, I do believe that Livramento at 4.5 is a really decent option. He will start most games at right back. He's not the same kind of player as Trippier, not contributing with set pieces and crosses, but he's still a really attacking wing back. So Livramento could be golden if Trippier leaves, so pay attention during the transfer window. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, do you agree with the best picks from each club? Make sure to watch part 1 and part 2 if you missed it. Part 4 will be out soon. See you then.